It may sound silly, but I feel like if appreciation for the present moment were a film format, it would be 6x6. Hi everyone and welcome. Today I'm sharing my first impressions on my new camera, the Rolleiflex 3.5F. I'll be going over my thoughts after shooting my first few rolls and also sharing some sample photos as well. The Rolleiflex has an incredible history, which I won't dive too deeply into in this video, but it was used by Vivian Maier, Diane Arbus, Richard Avedon, and the list goes on and on. One of my friends that I've worked with on set a couple times let me know that he was selling his Rolleiflex, and after I thought about it, I decided it was the perfect camera to add to my collection. I love shooting 6x6 formats. I know some people really don't like it, and if you don't, let me know in the comments why, because I'm curious. But 6x6 was my #1 favorite format before I started shooting with the wide lux and shooting panoramic. It's really a toss-up between the two. I also love how surprisingly small this camera is. It's much more travel friendly than my other 6x6 camera, the Kiev 88, and more reliable, but we'll get into that later. For these test rolls, I shot 2 rolls of color, Portra 400 and Ektar 100, and 1 roll of black and white, Tri-X 400. I took some photos during my process of moving out of my apartment, at the park, and in a variety of different lighting conditions. I especially love shooting with these geese. They were perfectly happy to accept me as one of their own, even if a little reluctantly since I didn't bring any snacks. Hi. Loading is super straightforward. You move the latch out of the way to open the back, move the spool to the take-up side, load the film, make sure to load it under the roller, tuck it into the take-up spool, advance the film, close the back, and advance the film until it stops. Then you pull the winder back in order to lock it back safely into the camera. One of the first things I noticed about this camera, as I mentioned, was how small it is. I am so used to seeing the iconic self-portraits taken with this camera. When it has the viewfinder up, it looks a lot bigger than it actually is. I was looking to have an option for medium format that I could take traveling. It's way more travel friendly than the only other 6x6 camera that I own, which is the Kiev 88, and any other medium format camera I own too. I have taken the 645 to Japan and Sedona, and it can take a toll on you after a while of shooting. It is a twin reflex camera, so it has 2 lenses, one for viewing and one for actually taking the photos. The lens is a 75mm, it's a 3.5, and it's a Zeiss lens, so it is really sharp. The only thing about this lens is the minimum focal distance is about 3 feet, so there were multiple times where I was shooting where I felt like I wanted to get closer but I couldn't. But it's not that bad because you can buy Rolleinar lenses that just attach onto them and then you can get closer to your subject with those. I may look into buying those. The sample photos that I've seen just look so pretty. I do really just like getting up closer. I think it just makes these photos look so much more dynamic. One of the advantages of the TLR system is that there's no mirror shake, which is nice. Since there are separate lenses for viewing and taking the photo, the mirror doesn't have to move out of the way. Like in SLR cameras, you're not going to get mirror shake on the lower shutter speeds that you use with this camera. I love that this camera has a meter. It's great because if you're viewing in the top-down viewfinder, you can see everything all in one place. You can see what you're framing, the light meter, the aperture, and the shutter speed, and it's just all in one place at the top. I found the meter to be very accurate and easy to read. This camera uses a top-down viewfinder and it has a magnifying glass so you can clearly see the focus. This viewfinder is actually really exciting to me in how well designed it is. There is a sports mode, as I've heard it called. You put the back of the viewfinder all the way down so you can look through the camera head on. Then you can actually still use the focusing system in this mode as well. When I learned that, I was just like, wow, it's just the little design things that make you just so happy. One note, when you're looking through the top-down viewfinder, things are backwards, so it can take a little bit of time to get used to and some time to frame up your shot. Because of that, it might not be the best camera for capturing quick movements like moving cars or bikes or whatever, but overall I think that the viewfinder is very clear and easy to use. The shutter is so gentle and quiet. Listen. How cute! At first I didn't know if I actually took a photo or not because it's so subtle. You can also set the camera to 800 ISO. Most more modern film cameras have this, but a lot of the cameras that I have only go up to 400. I don't usually shoot past 800, so this is perfect for me. So let's talk about the format. I love 6x6. I love framing with this format, and I almost feel like there's a levity to it. It may sound silly, but I feel like if appreciation for the present moment were a film format, it would be 6x6. I don't know how else to explain it. That's just how it feels in my brain. Since the field of view is much smaller than what we normally see and what most film cameras normally see, I find myself paying even closer attention to composition and framing. And in that way, I really do feel like the constraints of 6x6 foster more creativity. You really have to think closely about which details to include and which to leave out in each photo. And for me, that's fun. There are really not many downsides to shooting with this camera, in my opinion, but one of them for me is that it only shoots 12 photos per roll, especially when you compare that to like the Mamiya 645, which gets 15 photos per roll. Film is expensive, we all know that, but at least all of the photos turn out with this camera, unlike my Kiev 88 that only gets 12 photos per roll and sometimes only like 2 of them come out. So that's something that can be said for this camera, is in my experience so far, it's been very reliable. Speaking of the Kiev 88, I am currently putting together a review after 8 years of owning and using it, along with some sample photos, so stay tuned for that. The Kiev 88 is the most unreliable camera that I own by far, so there will be drama. I'm also excited to announce that I will be taking some of my cameras to Iceland and Portugal soon, so make sure to like and subscribe just so you know exactly when those relaxing videos drop. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.